are joining and getting interested to know about the Jain Network project and Samarpan Meditation, the simple, unique technique used worldwide to connect to inner soul. Everyone contribution, right from Jain Muni guiding us, and also the speaker who has contributed and will be coming in the next few sessions as well, making it simple to people to understand, experience the Samarpa meditation with one aim to connect spiritually to our soul. Below quote is by His Holiness Sri Shivkrupanand Swamiji. All our life, we try to get to know and understand other people, but we never try to get to know ourselves. Samarpa meditation teaches one to get to know oneself. It teaches the common man to turn inward because it is based on the principle that world peace can never be achieved through the holy books or through the powerful instruments, but can be brought about by initiating inner peace in the soul of every individual. I would like to invite Dr. Nattubai Shah, the founder of Jain Centre London. Nattubai. Nattubai? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Paras. Can everybody hear? Thank you very much, Paras. One thing is sure, there can never be external peace without internal peace. All the problems of the world, for example, when we think about it, externally they are thinking peace, 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 but there has to be internal peace first. And the Jain Center, which Jain Network has, the project which we have taken, it is for promoting the peace. It is for practicing peaceful living. And I'll give you some details about it. Every time I go give oral details, but this time I will give it the slides. Jain Center, which we are making, is in Colindale. Colindale is a very growing area. We expect it's a unique center. There are nearly 30,000 new homes are likely to, new people will be living in Colindale. It's a growing area. London, the mayor of London has established as one of the area. And more than 4,000 families have already come there. So many flats are being brought. And we are making the picture which you see is right near the tube station, about 5 minutes walk from the tube station, and other public transport, a lot of public transport. 5 buses are coming. It will be 3-storied building. Top floor will be for all Jain traditions, major Jain traditions. And plus the uniqueness of this is that we are making 108 Parsnath Jinalaya, and that is the first of its kind outside India. And then it is white marble carving, etc. Will be there. And our mission is to improvement of spiritual and physical quality of life of Jains and wider community. It will provide place of worship and study for all major Jain traditions, as I said. Om and Reem shape 108 Parsnath Jinalaya, which is nowhere in the world of that kind. And we are now likely to have a global hub to disseminate Jain values and one-stop information on Jainism activities. Jain values are, I'll put in third way, it's art of loving, art of living, and art of living, which we can expand a lot later on. Our activities will include advocacy, educational and cultural, and health and well-being activities and facilities for Jain and wider community. It will have research and it will be research and coordination center and activities for improving life of humans and animals. and also environment sustenance. It will have a multi-faith center, library, interfaith activities. Why multi-faith center? And when multi-faith center, that means around about 400 square feet area is there. We'll have a concept of all traditions, all nine faiths, which is historical nine faiths accepted in Britain. And plus, in front of each concept, we are going to have a showcase box where there'll be artifacts of different faiths. And this will be very good for schools, colleges, because of artifacts of different things. It will be changing all the time. But at the same time, people will visit schools, university, etc. will visit, and they will think about it. What is good? What is common between all the faiths? We do a lot of interfaith activities. That means that every year 1 or 2 programs plus interfaith week also we celebrate. I myself am a trustee of the Interfaith Network for last 27 years. Now we on the first floor, for example, first floor and ground floor are a community center. Second floor, for example, which Akshay is showing at the moment slide, you can see the big thing, white marble, totally white marble temple, then big hall, nearly 400 people can sit. Then there's a Guru Mandir, Digambak, different tradition, and then Parshnas and guardian deities also we have made something. So there is everything for all Jain tradition. The next, please. You do next. This is showing a carving. Carving will be something, white marble carving. The Jains are known for their carving. Any temple you go in India, Jainism, at the moment, we are less than 1% population. But in old days, it is said that 1500 years back, nearly in southern India, more than 65% were Jains. In northern India, 40%. This center will be something visitors can do. At the bottom, you can see home rim shape, underneath Parsna Jinale. Next, please. There are murtis, every murtis, whatever they are giving are there. I'm not going to give them details. You can see on the website, Next, please. Now, first floor, when we go, this big hall, which we are right from the which big halls also can sit up to 400 people. But we are making a partitions in between right from the beginning. Sound floor, acoustic, so that if somebody requires 400 people, 200 people or more, it will be available. Because even London Borough of Barnet's main offices, council offices, also have shifted in council, just walking distance, 5 to 7 minutes walking from us. It will be used by Middlesex University, main businesses, etc., for meeting, etc., etc. Everywhere reception is circular. In front, the front room here is a multi-faith center, library. Library, we are making traditional library as well as e-library, so that people can work and people can read there. Then there'll be multi-purpose room. Go to back, please, back slide. Yes. Then there is an exhibition area. There will be changing exhibition about Indian culture or Jain culture. It will be changing and people can use. And back of this, there are 4 rooms, residential rooms, just like hotel rooms, so that visitors, scholars, or saints can come and stay there. Next, please. This gives you slightly in more detail. This is multi-page center, slightly more in detail. Circular reception room and big hall, different kind of halls. Next, please. When we go on the ground floor, next ground floor, slightly detail is there, isn't it? Yeah, ground floor. When you go on the steps, then you go on a big entrance hall. Entrance hall is about 550 square feet. Then you have circular reception area, which is 925 square feet. In the center, there will be table, all controls, for example, car park, etc. All controls will be there. Receptions will be there. Then there are administrative block, clock room, the secretary's room, and the director's room, and then other utilities. Then we go in the back front. There's a restaurant stroke cafe which can sit 100 people, where vegetarian stroke vegan food will be served. And then there's a car park for 14 cars. If there are big occasions, we have made arrangement with RAF Museum and Morrison's, and they will allow us parking there, which is only 5 to 7 minutes walk from there, or we'll make a shuttle bus. Next, please. But the construction work of the Jain Center is progressing extremely well. Carving work is progressing well in India as well. And I'm planning to have Pratishtha. We are planning to finish everything in 2022. Details, how much we phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We have already finished phase 1, second phase 2 is going on, and work is there. Total cost, for example, is a different thing, but nearly here, even Jain community itself has raised more than 4 million pounds, And then naturally, the project we require 8 million, we require everybody's support. The beauty of this is that this center is just not only for Jains, but all communities. It will be our gift to the London Borough of Barnet and North London, or London we say. And this will be something like tourist attraction, resource center, and place of pilgrimage for Jains. Next. And how you can help us. You can help us in different ways. We have worked out. Either one can be member, chief patron, associate patron, or somebody wants to put a plaque. We have made us in each place, like committee places there. Then a building fund also people can lay. Then people can donate breaks as well. And sacred statue also they can play plaques. And on ground everywhere. And then like Jain community is one thing. At the time of rituals or pratishtha, when we are opening, people bid for it, having a privilege, and we raise a lot of money. But we expect all these things goes on, then we should raise about 10 million, which will cover the cost. That's how we work, even more than that. We are asking, we are requesting even funds because it's going to be community center, education center. And soon, once our plans and video are ready, we'll be approaching different government departments, lottery departments, and many trusts, whether they can help us to promote this peaceful living center. Jain Center name, maybe Jain Center. It is center which will help all communities, and whatever problems are there, as time goes, it will help everybody. And I'm sure we can get funding from government and different trusts. Thank you very much. And Jai Jinendra will be part of it. This unique center belongs to all of us. We require support everybody, and you can help us. And if any suggestion, please suggest us. At the time of construction, we can change it. But idea is to help everybody, all human beings, human being, animal, or environmental. This building will be environmental friendly building. On the roof, there'll be small plants, it does not go further. It looks a green building totally. The windows of this, beauty of the windows of the center, we believe, say, for example, Krishna, Mahavishnu Bhagwan's mother, got 14 dreams. And traditionally, we put swastik, for example, in India. But here we don't put swastik. Instead of that, we have put the swastik which heavenly beings make, according to our tradition. And the swastik surrounded by all dreams. And all windows will have same. So that it will look beautiful. Something without telling Jain anything about Jains. The window itself will depict Jainism and its values. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, now I'll welcome Prafulla Ben. She will be taking further. Prafulla Ben.
Good morning, Jai Jinendra, and namaste to everyone. as Notubai was just explaining about the activities of Jain Network, the current Jain Network Center at Colindale obviously is being developed into this new center, and our activities are continuing. And one of those activities that we have been involved in promoting is organ donation. And Jain Network is actually is part of a number of projects funded by the NHS Blood and Transplant Service, where we are looking to raise awareness of organ donation in England particularly, and encouraging hard to reach communities around us to donate their organs after death. It is a challenging topic, a topic that often people are unwilling to talk about. And we would start with showing a video that was produced with funding from NHS Blood and Transplant, which was launched at the Houses of Parliament last year, and is currently being used in a number of marketing campaigns. So we'll start with the video, and then we're welcoming today Shivkrupanand Modi, who will be talking more about organ donation in our communities, and then I will come back to talk a little bit more about our project. Thank you.
Karan would definitely have been proud of us fulfilling his wishes, because he truly was a giver, and it's something that he wanted to do. The medical team truly respected Karan. They gave him dignity, they gave us the full support that we needed. Any questions, and they were answered promptly. Karan helped 4 people in the precious gifts that he gave.
My brother Mukesh passed away in March 18. He donated both his eyes, both his corneas, one to a 67-year-old lady and one to a 64-year-old gentleman, both whose lives have improved tremendously. And I'm sure Mukesh is proud of that.
Organ donation is really considered after everything possible is done to save the life of that patient.
It was Rohit's wishes that he wanted to donate all his organs. And as a family, we knew about it. When we saw the body at the funeral time, it was completely normal, and we did the Hindu Jain ceremony funeral.
Having a kidney transplant will change my life tremendously. It is a waiting game. I'm always waiting for that call to come through.
Organ donation is a highly spiritual act whereby we think about the wellness of others more than our own selves.
With all my heart, I urge everyone to place their organs for donation. There could not be a better way to enrich the lives of others.
Register your decision about organ donation. Pass it on.
Talk to your family and friends about your decision to donate. Pass it on.
Help save lives. Pass it on.
Thank you. I'm going to now introduce Shivkrupanand Modi, who is a bit of an organ donation guru, actually, and he's going to talk to us about organ donation and the challenges that we currently face in the UK. He is chair of the Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Committee and president of the MBTA. Shivkrupanand.
Jai Jinendra to everyone. Thank you, Prafula Ben. And can I first say that I'm most grateful to Natubai Shah and Jain Network for this opportunity to talk with you about organ donation today. If you can look at the first slide, please. And the next one. And the next slide, Akshay. Thank you. Now, there are two ways of donating organs. Firstly, when we're living, we can donate our kidney. Kidney is the most common organ we can donate after we die, but we can also donate part of our liver. But after we die, obviously, there are a lot more organs we can donate. We can donate our heart, our lungs, our kidneys, our pancreas, and so on. And today I'm going to focus on donation after death. Okay, so if you look at the next slide. Now, the law on organ donation in England has changed. In fact, it changed very recently, just last month on the 20th of May, the law changed. And what it says in summary is that all adults in England will be considered to have agreed to be an organ donor when they die, unless they have registered a decision not to donate or they are in an excluded group. And this law is called many names. It's called opt-out, it's called deemed consent, it's called Max and Kera's law. So you'll see these names in the media. And the excluded groups are obviously children are excluded. So those under 18 are excluded. People who lack the capacity to understand the change, people with learning difficulties are excluded. People who are here on a short term, visitors and so on. So if you've lived in England for less than 12 months, you're excluded. And people who are not living here voluntarily, perhaps people who are in our prisons and so on. But other than those excluded groups, all other adults are affected by the change in law. But the important thing is why this is a very important change in law, that at the critical time when organ donation is discussed by the nurse in hospital, that close family members will continue to be involved. So no donation can take place without discussion with the family members in hospital. So if you look at the next slide, just want to give you an idea. We have a huge challenge. We all know that we need more people in our community to be organ donors, and there are lots of people who are waiting. So these are just some figures from the most recent figures available from the NHS, that there were in 2018-19, there were 56 Asian donors after death and 83 Asian living kidney donors. And in that same financial year, there were over 1,000 Asians who are waiting for an organ. Mostly people are waiting for a kidney, but some people are waiting for lungs or heart or whatever. But regrettably, people are dying while waiting, and over 400 people from all backgrounds died while waiting. So clearly this is something we can change. So if you look at the next slide. So just to explain again, what is the choice you have? So if you're living in England and you're not in an excluded group, then the law applies to you now. So the first thing you can do is sign the organ donor register, and I'll give you a link later on so you can follow that up, to indicate a decision to donate organs. You can sign a register to say, I'm happy for my organs to be donated after I die. You can, obviously this is a voluntary activity. There's no force, this is a gift. So you can sign a separate register to say you do not want to donate your organs, and that's perfectly okay as well, so long as you make a decision. But if you don't do anything, then the deemed consent will apply. So it will be assumed that you are willing to donate your organs. So doing nothing is not an option. Obviously, you can decide which organs you want to donate and which organs you don't want to donate. So some people might say, I don't want to donate my heart, for example, and that's fine. So when you register, you can indicate which organs you want to donate. And some people will say, okay, I'm happy for any of my organs which are good to be donated. And again, it's important that this only relates to the normal organ donation. There are obviously new research into organ donation taking place all the time. So you've got novel transplant like limb and heart and so on. Obviously, they are not included. Just the list I was talking about is included in the form. When you go on the website, the list is there for you to consider. Next slide, please. Now, clearly, we are in the middle of this pandemic. So how has that affected organ donation? As you can imagine, obviously, organ donations have been reduced considerably because of the pressure in hospitals. Hospitals have been crisis managing, with the COVID and coronavirus issues. So they have not had the capacity to do many organ donations at the moment. But I'm pleased to say that now things are getting better. So organ donation after death have started slowly in hospitals. So they're beginning to happen. We've also had, just a couple of weeks ago, the first living kidney donations have also started. Yes, so things are picking up. So, it is a good thing. But obviously hospitals have to take very careful consideration about safety before they can start the major operations we're talking about. Obviously, you can imagine that somebody who dies from COVID, they're not able to donate because clearly if they donate, they may in fact pass on COVID to their recipients. So if you die from COVID, then you can't donate your organs. But the overall impact of that is that people are waiting longer, yes, for organ donations because fewer have taken place. And that has affected our community, the Asian community, particularly harshly, because as you know, more people from our community have died from COVID compared to other communities and so on. So the same applies to organ donation. So the number of people who are waiting on dialysis, for example, in our community is increasing. So if you look at the next slide. So the call to action, really, I want you to reflect today about organ donation. And the first thing I would say is register your decision about organ donation. Very easy to do. It takes literally 5 minutes. You can go on the website there, www.organdonation.nhs.uk. If you'd rather do it by phone, then you can ring this number. Obviously, it's you can't ring today, but from tomorrow, on a weekday, you can ring this number and they'll help you to register. Now, some people are asking, saying, look, the law is there now. Why do I have to register? And I'll give you 3 reasons why I think you should register. The first one is that organ donation is a precious gift somebody can give. And I think most people would want to give that gift willingly, if that's what they want to do. You don't want to give a gift because the law is telling you to. So make a positive decision. So do register. The second thing is your family member, as I said, will be involved in discussing it. So you want to help your family. So talk to your family member about your decision beforehand. And this will make life much easier for your family members at a very difficult time for everybody when you're in hospital, when you're on the verge of death in hospital. So make it easier for your family. So that's the second thing. And the third thing I would say is, we've heard in the video from Pragna Ben and others, these are family members of those who have donated organs already. And they always say that, it's very difficult to come to terms with the passing away of a loved one. We all know that, how difficult it is. But something which gives them comfort is if they know that their loved one had donated organs, then they would say they would feel a great deal of satisfaction and pride that my loved one, even at this last minute when they were dying, that they did something to help others. So make a positive decision about organ donation. Talk to your family members about your decision. And obviously, the main reason is that we want to help save lives. And as I was saying earlier, many people are dying while waiting for an organ. The other thing you can do is encourage others to make a decision. You've got this information now. Share it with your family, with your friends, and so on WhatsApp and so on. Yeah. The other thing we're also finding is there's some misleading information about organ donation. And if you do come across it, in WhatsApp chats or whatever, do challenge it. Go to the website I've talked about there to get accurate information about organ donation. And as Prafula Ben was saying, within our communities, the Jain and the Hindu community, there's a lot of support for organ donation. And I'm delighted to say that a lot of work is going on. So I'm really grateful to many Jain organizations which are leading on this in the UK. And obviously, you know about the work of the Jain Network. The Manik Council is doing some fantastic work, as is Oshwal Association, and Virayat in UK are also doing important work. So I'm very proud of the Jain community and the work they are doing, but we need your support. So my simple message to you is, think about organ donation today, talk to your family, and register your decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirit, and also for updating us on the current challenges posed by COVID-19 to organ donation particularly. What I just wanted to focus on for the next 10 minutes is talk about the challenges that we face as a community, but also the challenges that communities are facing around us, around the Jain Center. So the Jain Network project is very much about actually reaching those local communities who are also impacted by organ donation in a similar way to us in the Jain and Hindu communities. So these are communities from the African and Somali background, communities from the Chinese background that are all have made Colindale their home for many, many years. And we as an organization are actually working with the elders in those communities to reach them particularly, because they are one of the hardest reach communities identified by NHS Blood and Transplant. And just this week, actually, I've been talking to a nurse who is a renal nurse at the Hammersmith Hospital from the Somali background. And she was telling me this week that actually a lot of patients in that particular hospital who come for kidney dialysis are actually from the Somali background. So it's a community that is hugely impacted by this. And of course, we know that our communities, particularly from the South Asian background, have very many issues around diabetes, heart disease, and other health conditions that make us more prone to having conditions such as a kidney disease maybe. And so dialysis, when we go to dialysis units in hospitals around London, we do see a lot of people from the South Asian background. So the Jain Networks project is trying to make a difference in introducing people to more healthy choices, considering how we live our lives, maybe take regular exercise. And I'm really pleased that we're doing these meditation sessions, because they are actually a form of exercise that help us to live a more healthy life. So organ donation is something that impacts our communities greatly. We are not very good at actually talking about organ donation. We are getting better, as some of the information in Kiripai's slide shows us. And to the end of last year, there was actually some research that was done by NHS Blood and Transplant that talks about our views and how we are embracing organ donation. And that is all positive and really good news. But, you know, as a community, we can do very much more. And our message today is very, very simple. This is a community challenge, and the challenge that the community actually needs to meet together. So don't be shy about talking about organ donation in your family networks, in your friends' networks, and in our community generally. It is perhaps one of the most challenging conversations for us to have. About what do we do when we are no longer going to be on this earth. Natubai often talks about this idea of Jainism being the art of loving, living, and leaving. And it's that art of living. How do we leave, so that actually the legacy we leave behind is about helping somebody else. And organ donation offers us that wonderful opportunity to do exactly that. We believe in seva, we believe in dan, and those are the principles of our Asian Sanskriti. So I think we, as communities from the Jain and Hindu traditions particularly, are very supportive of organ donation. You saw in our video a number of Jain saints talking about organ donation and our support for it. And so I absolutely appeal to everybody that please do visit the organ donation website, register your decision, have that conversation, so that if your family is in that challenging situation where there is that moment where you may become possible donor, at least you've had that conversation with your family and you've left your wishes very clear that actually this is what I want to do. So have the conversation with your friends and family, register on the organ donation register, support organizations like Jain Network and others that are doing this amazing work to bring these messages to our communities and beyond. I know, Kiritbhai, you said we are here to talk about donation after death, but me being a donor of a kidney, so I'm a live donor, so I will always also advocate that we should talk about that. And if anyone wants more information about live donation, please reach out to me. Kiritbhai is a very shy transplantee. He never mentions it, but he's had 2 kidney transplants and looking wonderful on it. So he has a very, personal experience about this that he's able to share with people. So please do reach out to the people in our communities who have been there, done it, and are able to actually give us and answer those questions that we may have. I think my final message is that the Jain Network project is underway. We're working with the local community and our business partners, and we welcome more volunteers to step forward to take that message out to the communities. Thank you very much, Parisbhai, for inviting us to talk about organ donation today. And we very much hope to return at some point during these sessions that you are bringing to the community about meditation. Thanks.
Thank you, Prafulla Ben and Kiritbhai Modi, for this wonderful knowledge which we got about the organ donation. Now I would like to invite Samarpan Meditation speaker, Emma Dolman, who works for Department of Education. Emma, can you take it from there?
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think we've got a few slides, so hopefully those will go up, so you don't have to stare at me. Here we go. So thank you very much to the Jain Network for inviting me to come and share some thoughts and feelings and experiences today, which I'm delighted to do. And if we go on to the next slide, that just explains how I'm going to go through my 10 minutes, hopefully not too speedily. So I'll start with my personal reflections on Samarpan. Having been in Samarpan Meditation since 2001, that's 19 years of meditation. And then I will go into just talking a little bit about Jainism and Samarpan and how they are connected, because I think there's a very significant connection there, which some of you may well know about. And I thought it might be just nice to explore the beginnings of that, the origins of that in the Himalayas. So next slide, please. So just before I get into this slide and the benefits, I thought it might be helpful for you to understand how I came to Samarpan meditation very briefly. I had started to meditate in about 1996. I had a belief that I really wanted to understand more about how the world worked and spirituality and that kind of thing. And so for about 5 years, I dipped into different meditations, different practices, healing, you name it. I had a bit of a go at it. And then the teacher that I had stopped teaching in 2001, 2000. And I was invited by one of my friends to go and meet, within 6 months it happened, a number of different enlightened teachers, several of whom came from India and come on a regular basis. So I went to see a few of those, I think about 4 of those. And then at the end of that, I was invited by one of the devotees, one of the sadhaks. He sent me a poster through the post to a workshop that Swamiji was running in 2001. And he couldn't go. And so I thought, oh, this sounds interesting. And so off I went. And that was my first contact with Swami Shivkrupanand. And it was, again, it was one of these by chance things. And it was indeed one of his first workshops in the UK. So I was very lucky to be part of the beginning of Swamiji's bringing Samarpan meditation out of the Himalayas. And I was very keen, as you can see, to try and find an enlightened teacher, somebody who was true, somebody who you felt you got an experience from. And when I first had an introduction to him, sometime later, I had been doing 2 meditations. One meditation was Samarpan, and the other one was a previous meditation I'd done. And immediately he could see that I had been doing 2 meditations. He said, in my aura, and he said, it doesn't matter which one you choose, but choose one, because then all your focus and energy will come to you, rather than dividing it by having 2. And so shortly after having met him, I alighted upon Samarpan meditation, and that was the start of it really for me. So now I go into perhaps the personal benefits of Samarpan. And I divided these just for simplicity into qualities at home and qualities at work. At home, I found that over time, I felt more calm. I've found that inner peace. And I've always felt that having that higher perspective is really helpful. Because, you know, when you get into a tight spot or something's not going too well, you know, you have to sit back and fall back on something. And, you know, worrying about things is wasted energy. So having that higher perspective and that ability to let things go, and that's what Samarpan is all about, is to surrender, to let things go. And so those are, I suppose, some of the key qualities that I felt I've got from consistently doing the half-an-hour meditation each day. Now at work, as Paris said at the introduction, I currently work for the Department for Education. I've worked there just over a year. And the majority of my career, again, has been spent in government, but working for many years with Defence, which is a very different sort of organisation. And over that time, I found that having done the meditation consistently, I found that I've had resilience to deal with whatever has come in front of me. And it has increased my ability to do more work, take on more things, perhaps be a bit more ambitious. And it's enabled me to be, you know, have more energy and be more focused. And ultimately, I find that, you know, my confidence, perhaps from 19 years ago to where I am today, that's got much stronger. And there's probably not much that I don't feel I could tackle. I don't necessarily have to take it fantastically, but at least I would have a go at it and see where that took me. And then finally, I would say that what I found at work is that I have much more inspiration and creativity. And also a feeling. So I feel if something's going to work or if it doesn't. And I have that intuition that kind of guides me. And now I know where that comes from. It comes from that closer connection to my soul through the meditation. But actually it then emanates at work or in places where I'm trying to work things through. It seems to come from that. Okay, so that's a lot about me. And let's move on to a little bit, next slide, very briefly. Some research. I've done a number of different research projects within Samarpan and had lots of help to do that. And one that I was just going to highlight here is one that I did in 2011 when I did a secondment to the International Business School at Ashridge, where we took 3 groups of people, one which meditated with Samarpan, one which didn't but did some other exercise, walking the dog, swimming, etc., but not a mental exercise, and then a control group. And we looked over 45 days at the impact of that and where people felt there was some benefit. And without kind of spoiling it, in case you might want to listen again, I'm very happy to come back and talk about some of the research that I've done, not just this, if that's of interest to the group, but the punchline was that the group of meditators over 45 days found that there was 90% of them found that there was a significant benefit to them doing it, compared to those who did some other exercise, cycling, walking, petting the dog, whatever it was, knitting, where 52% found some benefit. Okay, so if we move on swiftly to the second part of my talk, which is just looking briefly at the links between Jainism and Samarpan, how they came about within the Himalayas, what the origins were. And so if we move to the next slide, please. There we go. So initially, Swamiji was moving through the Himalayas. He was being passed from guru to guru. And as part of this process, he was sent by his guru specifically to join a Jain Muni community. Oh, here we go again. It's quite difficult to say this. Jain Muni community, whereby there were 45 of them living deep within the Himalayas in caves, living in very close connection, and they were all they had all achieved liberation. They were living amongst nature, all supporting each other. And Swamiji learned that his purpose when he got there was to understand how to transcend the ego. This was an important step in his own spiritual development. And he did this by connecting, learning, absorbing the values from those Jain Munis practicing deep in the Himalayas. What that then enabled him to do was to then incorporate those values into Samarpan meditation. And that was a big step forward for him to be able to take that meditation out into society, which of course, as we all know, has happened from the late 1990s, 2000, around that time. So in Samarpan, there isn't an aspect of doing. For those of you who have done and tried the meditation, it's all about being. There isn't anything that you need to do. You just need to give your time for 30 minutes a day. So there's no doership. It's not like breathing exercises or different postures or that kind of thing. It's just sitting peacefully and giving your time and placing your attention on the top of your head. Next slide, please. So Swamiji, when he was in the Himalayas, he met and built a relationship with the elder Jain Muni there, who he named Dr. Baba. That was because Dr. Baba was indeed a medical doctor. His entire family had were into all different aspects of medical practice. But he himself, like many others in that group of 45, who were engineers and other highly educated people, had decided to leave society, move to the Himalayas and aim for liberation themselves. And none of them have left. And so Jainism itself, as you all know, the origins were based on meditation. And so therefore, joining these Munis, they are very close to that path of meditation, so they had a lot to give. And so what Dr. Baba had said was, your work couldn't have commenced without coming here, because Swamiji required the energy of meditation in order to then go and bestow or to teach that meditation. Next slide, please. And this is just a picture from one of Swamiji's books. I think perhaps a previous speaker has explained that Swamiji has written a number of half a dozen books called Samarpan Yoga of the Himalayas, starting with his journey through the Himalayas as he was passed from guru to guru. This picture is taken from book 4, 2015. And this scene shows Dr. Baba, who's sitting on the stone, and Swamiji kneeling, placing his fingertips on the palms of Dr. Baba's hands, who immediately went into meditation at this point and said, truly lakhs, hundreds of thousands of souls are going to come to, are going to benefit through you. Next slide, please. So what's interesting is how the two things have come together, the Jainism and the beginnings of Samarpan meditation. So Dr. Baba saying what the goal of meditation was here, that they are performing to achieve liberation, and the meditation Swamiji is performing is to bestow that liberation. And the only difference is the meditation methods. And so Dr. Baba said, I too have that similar wish, that the message that's been given by Sri Mahavir Swamiji, that's confined only to Jain temples and idols, should reach each and every person. So you can begin to see the similarity, the same message, the same pure desire and wish for society and what it needs at the moment. And if we move to the next one. So this is the last slide. And I just liked this particular quote again from Dr. Baba, which is, you know, our paths can be different, but the destination for all of us is the same ultimately, if we realize that, which is to create that peaceful, happy world in all circumstances. So we can all worship in different ways and meditate, but attain that liberation in our lives. And I like that because it gives us that oneness, it gives us that one feel. The picture is a picture I took when I went to Ajmer in Rajasthan to one of Swamiji's ashrams a couple of years ago. And we went on a trip to the Nareli temple here, and we had a most magnificent welcome. We were given lunch. It's a fantastic temple. Interestingly, on the same trip, but 900 miles further, I was walking through a town, a small village called Yola near Shirdi. And I'm interested in photography. I was taking lots of pictures. My group got a bit bored and they wanted to go off and have tea. But there was a particular place that just was an ordinary kind of looking place on the outside, but highly decorated. And I said, that's interesting. My friends carried on, but a chap came out of the shop and said, would you like to go in there? And I said, well, I'd love to go in there. But anyway, he said, I'll go and find a key. You go and have a cup of tea. When I came back, probably about half an hour later, and we walked down the same street, a little chap popped out with a key and said, would you like to go over there? And I said, that'd be great, thank you. And so this building that was fairly unprepossessing, fairly ordinary looking from the outside, but nicely decorated, when they opened the doors was another, you've guessed it, Jain temple. And it was the most beautiful temple. It was filled with silver. And normally you weren't allowed to go in there at all, but they looked and said, okay, you've obviously got a desire to come here. And so he invited me in, and we all went in, and we had a fantastic tour of the temple. So just a little bit of me trying to show how Samarpan and the Jain community can really well come together, and it's based on some really fundamental and significant principles. So Paris, I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Emma, for your wonderful PPT and the explanation. We'll be doing the next one would be the meditation for 15 minutes. I would like to take it further. Now, before that, let me share the messages from the chat box so that everyone knows the websites and details if they want to get more information about it. Let me guide you to the process of how to connect to the meditation. Few things which you can do are light a candle, if you can. It's an optional for everyone. If you light a candle, it helps you to burn your thoughts and stay thoughtlessness. If possible, please try to be seated on the ground comfortably and with your back straight. The people who can sit on the ground, people who can sit on the ground comfortably. The people who cannot sit on the ground can sit on the chair or a sofa and put your feet connected to the ground, which will help you to connect to the Mother Earth. Sit calmly. We'll be playing the meditation CD, which will have an invitation to the positive energy. We can all repeat after Swamiji. After inviting the positive energy, we have to sit calmly. And at the end of the music, there'll be a prayer which we all can repeat together. And then there'll be a special prayer in the collectivity of pure soul for the development of Jain Center. So if we can all follow me, please. Please put your palm right facing upward on your knee. Slowly now take your right hand slowly on the top of your head. Press it gently. Move it in the clockwise direction for 3 times. This will help you to keep your attention on your head crown chakra. Close your eyes slowly. Bring your hands back to the same position. And we'll be playing the meditation CD now.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. मेरे साथ ध्यान की शुरुआत करेंगे। मैं एक पवित्र आत्मा हूँ। मैं एक शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ। मैं एक पवित्र आत्मा हूँ। मैं एक शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ। मैं एक पवित्र आत्मा हूँ। मैं एक शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ। अपने चित्त को तालुआ पर रख के ध्यान दें। प्रार्थना करेंगे, हे परमात्मा, हम सभी पवित्र आत्माएं आपको हृदय से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि सारे विश्व में शांति हो, सारे विश्व के आत्माओं की आध्यात्मिक उन्नति हो एवं सर्वांगीण उन्नति हो। यही हम सब आत्माओं की शुद्ध इच्छा है। नमस्कार करेंगे।
Now I'll be doing the prayer for the development of Jain Center, London. If you can all repeat after me. हम सभी पवित्र आत्माएं आपको सच्चे हृदय से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि जैन सेंटर लंदन का विकास का काम जल्दी से जल्द पूरा हो और सभी को इसका लाभ हो। यही हम सभी पवित्र आत्माओं की शुद्ध इच्छा है। I'll be doing the Shanti part. If you can all repeat after me. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Our next online session, which is on the 5th of July, will be at 11 a.m. UK time, and India time will be 3:30 p.m. Next session is very special, so please share to maximum people you can, as it falls in the Guru Purnima celebration. Guru Purnima with His Holiness Sri Shivkrupanand Swami. The session is from 3rd July to 5th July, organized by Shivkrupanand Swami Foundation, India. It's the first ever Guru Purnima online celebration. Guru Purnima is a golden opportunity for everyone, individuals, to take part and attend and learn and express to the Guru who guides us into the spiritual journey. 55,000 pure soul has pre-registered and will be joining all around the world to gain the positive energy and journey to the spiritual inner peace. I want to thank Dr. Natubai Shah and all trustees and management of Jain Network for your support. Thank you, Prafula Ben Shah and Kirit Bhai Modi, for the wonderful organ donation update to us. Thank you, Emma Dolman, for giving the wonderful presentation. And thank you, Samarpan Meditation UK and Shivkrupanand Foundation for the support. Thank you all for joining today. Look forward to see you on the next session on 5th of July at 11 a.m. UK time, and request all to start doing meditation at your home every day and connect to your inner soul. Thank you.